Hey, how's it going, guys? MissingNo again, and it's time to break out those proxies because we're profiling yet another deck that uses Eye of the Storm cards. Today we are doing Mono Dark Midrange. This deck was built by Kaleb123 in the Rangers Dojo Discord. And not only did Kaleb build this deck, they also took it to the most recent tournament that concluded on October 26th, and they got first place with it. And this deck is super, super cool, so congrats to them. I absolutely love it, and I had to build it as soon as I saw it. This deck is just super, super cool. When you see this video, registration for the next tournament in the Discord will have concluded, so you have missed your chance. But by all means, still go and join the Discord. I'll have that in the description down below. They are always having tournaments. It's a great place to just meet people, just talk about this awesome game. You can do trades there. People will help you with deck building. There's lots of card theory. Super, super fun. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this deck profile. To start things off, we play 3 copies of Icarus Spider. This is a 2 for 2,000 creature that has Shield Blast, Blocker, Guard, and when this creature wins a battle, it is banished. Being an early game blocker is super, super good. Being a Shield Blast blocker is even better, as your opponent could be like hitting with all these giant things. They hit this in shields, you drop it, and then you block a double breaker with this card. I feel that is a super good trade-off. And it dies whenever it wins a battle. That doesn't really matter all that much because this deck has so much recursion. They're going to just be constantly getting this card back, and it's perfectly fine. This card is like super, super good. And out of the replays I watched of this versus Mono Water in the finals, I say this card easily got the second most use out of like any other card in the deck. This card is actually like super, super good. Next we play 3 copies of Time Lost Phantom. This is a 2 for 2,000 plus creature. Whenever this creature attacks, you have to break one of your own shields. In this deck, I believe we play 15 Shield Blasts, and out of those 15 Shield Blasts, 9 of them are Shield Blast creatures. So the chances of you getting a body while attacking is also fairly decent. And then while you have no shields, this creature gains plus 4,000 power, and it has Double Breaker. So late game, if you're like running, if you have like no shields, this is a 2 for 6,000 Double Breaker, and that's pretty cool. Next, we're playing 3 copies of Scaradorable of Gloomhollow. This is a 3 for 2,000 creature that has Blocker, and while this creature is battling another creature that is level 4 or less, neither creature can be banished. So that's super good. It's just a tiny wall to kind of set up between you and your opponent for the early game. And then it can also switch to a more aggressive play style once you see some openings coming forward, because it's more than just a blocker. This card's really, really good. And we were talking about prices recently in the Discord, and I believe this is actually the most expensive rare in the game right now. This guy's like $20. That's crazy, but I kind of understand. Next, we're playing 3 copies of Dengorger. This is a 4 for 4,000 Ichor Spider. It has the exact same effects. It has Shield Blast, Blocker, Guard, and when it wins a battle, it gets banished. So just a bigger Ichor Spider. Dengorger is really, really good. And yeah, just another Shield Blast creature that you could potentially get for free off of your Time Lost Phantom. Another Shield Blast blocker that if your opponent swings into it, you get another free body. So it's also pretty nice. I really like it. Next, we are playing 3 copies of Underworld Stalker. 4 for 4,000. Has Slayer, my favorite keyword. This card can recur itself from the graveyard. So by paying 4 mana, you can just keep summoning right back from the graveyard, which is super nice. Just having a Slayer that recurs itself helps out quite a bit. And its last ability is if your opponent would have a creature go to the discard pile from anywhere, whether it be their hand, the field, wherever, It goes back to the bottom of their deck instead. This is a super annoying ability, and every time I try and think of an example of where this is super beneficial, I kind of draw a blank. So just know that this card is pretty decent. I prefer this card more in standard format, but my preferred format is definitely open. Like open is by far the more fun way to play. But in a format where you have less cards to handle and manage, um, Underworld Stalker is very, very good. We play 2 copies of Slithering Phantasm. This is a 4 for 7,000 Vortex evolution that you put on top of 2 of your Darkness creatures. It has Double Breaker, and it has an Unleash effect where whenever this creature attacks, you can unleash the bottom card, and then your opponent has to choose and discard 2 cards from their hand. So it's kind of like a Maddening Whispers, but they get to choose, and it's pretty decent. I'm mixed on this card, but if anything, it's a decent body to just get out and start swinging with. I kind of like it. We play 2 copies of Bone Blades. We don't play very many spells in this deck, but Bone Blades is definitely one of those exceptions because it's Bone Blades. Just 4-cost Shield Blast, banish target creature level 4 or less. It's really, really great removal for a good chunk of the game. 2 copies of Soul Reflection. Now this is a fun card. It's all about variance. So 5 costs to play, Shield Blast. You reveal the top 3 cards of your deck and choose a creature from among those cards. And then you target an enemy creature, and they lose power equal to the creature you chose that you had revealed. And then all those cards go to the discard pile. So if I were to reveal, let's say, a Slithering Phantasm based off of this card, I choose a creature, and that creature loses 7,000 power. And, obviously they die if it hits 0. So it fuels your graveyard for more recursion stuff later, which we're going to be getting to fairly soon. But Soul Reflection is just a pretty neat card. I wouldn't say it's good, but for this deck, it's pretty good. Next is Vang the Restless Plague, released in Eye of the Storm. This card is by far the MVP of this deck. This card was pretty much the reason that I feel that it won the tournament, because just watching it just absolutely wreck blue was crazy. So 6 for 6,000, Double Breaker. Whenever this creature enters the battle zone and whenever it attacks, you target a creature and it gets minus 3,000 power until the end of the turn. And then you may clash with your opponent, and if you win the clash, every creature gets minus 1,000 power. So, each enemy creature. That need to specify every enemy creature gets minus 1,000 power. So this card just comes in, does minus 3,000 to something, and there's a lot of things that would just immediately kill. You can clash, and if you do that, minus 1,000 everything. Mono Water was playing a lot of creatures that only had like 1,000 power, so if it won that clash, like everything would just die. It was really upsetting to watch. But then whenever you attack, you get to do it again. And that's just really, really good. So this card is just absolutely amazing. And I would always say that like Vang seems like it'd be a really good card, but I'd never really seen it actually used as well as everybody hyped it up to be in practice until I saw this deck in action. And Vang is by far like the best card from Eye of the Storm. Like this card is super, super good. Following Vang, we play 3 copies of Mythalgus the Tormentor. I showed this off in the Void Spawn deck. This is a 6 for 6,000. This glare is absolutely atrocious for me. Has Double Breaker, and whenever this creature attacks, you can clash with your opponent. And if you win the clash, you can take any creature from your discard pile that's non-evolution and just play it for free. So, on turn 6, it'll be turn 7 when you're attacking this card. If you've milled something super, super strong and high level before this card came out, you have the chance of just getting like a level 8 or 10 creature out just by winning a clash with this card. That's super, super good. You can reanimate your blockers. You can bring back Vang to do more Vang shenanigans. You can bring up some of the future cards I'll be showing up soon. Like, this card is super, super nice. I really like this card in this deck. It's really fun. Next is 3 copies of Megaria the Deceiver. This card's also pretty interesting. So it's a 7 for 7,000 double breaker. And when this creature enters the battle zone, you discard the top 3 cards of your deck. And then you randomly select 1 card from your discard pile. If it is a non-evolution creature, you play it for free. Otherwise, it gets added back to your hand. I think I only saw this card come down 1 time during the finals, and he ended up grabbing back his Bone Blades with it. But I was really hoping I would have got to see them pull back something like really, really cool, because that would have been really neat. But this card is just really good. It just recurs something else. If it doesn't recur a body, you're getting back either a Slithering Phantasm back, or you're getting back your really nice interruptive spells. And that's just really, really good. So, Megaria, super, super neat. Very interesting card. We play 2 copies of these ugly yellow Terror Pits. Sorry. But yeah, no, just it's Terror Pit. 7 costs, just banish target enemy creature. Like a staple darkness card. It's super, super good.
2 hours later.
My phone died because I'm a stooge and forgot to charge it. Next, we play 3 copies of Joko, Lunatic Chimp. It's an 8 for 2,000 creature with Shield Blast. Whenever this creature enters the battle zone, you may banish it, and if you do, you can target an untapped creature your opponent controls, and then banish it. So it's like a situational Terror Pit that has it meet a very specific condition and also kill itself. But if you don't do that, it's an 8 for 2,000, which sounds really, really terrible until you realize you can potentially get this for free. But hard casting it, this card sucks. I hate hard casting this card if I'm not going to use its ability. So, mixed feelings on Joko, but for this deck it's really, really good. So I'm not going to lie about that. Next, we play 3 copies of Grand Manipulator Agorix. This is one of my new favorite cards. The more I play this card, the more I absolutely love it. 8 for 9,000 plus. Double breaker. Whenever this creature is played, you can bring back creatures that are up to level 6 from your discard pile and play them for free. Like a grand total of 6. You can't play like all these cards that cost 6 or less. So you can bring back 3 copies of Ichor Spider if you have those. You can bring back 2 copies of Scaradorable of Gloomhollow. You could do a Den Gorger and an Ichor Spider. You could just bring back a Vang and just start doing Vang bullshit again. Super, super good. And then its other effect is when this creature attacks, you may choose any number of your other creatures, and then you banish them. And then this creature will gain 5,000 power for each of those, and then break an additional shield. So if you break, or if you banish 3 of your like little weenie creatures, you're now breaking 5 shields and hitting for, 24,000 power. That's silly. This card's good, and getting a 3rd copy was easily one of my best decisions I've made in this game. Highly recommend this card. And last, we play 2 copies of Queen Kalima. I saw this list and I saw 2 copies of Queen. I'm like, ew. Because I'm biased and I feel that you should always play 3 copies of Queen Kalima if you're playing Queen Kalima. However, Queen Kalima is not the point of this deck. It just is there to help in the shenaniganry. So, 10 cost, 16,000 power, triple breaker. When this creature enters the battle zone, you mill the top 3 cards of your deck, and then for every darkness card milled this way, your opponent has to choose one of their cards and kill them. So that's cool. You're guaranteed basically 3 Terror Pits. That's super fun. Whenever this creature attacks, you choose another creature in your discard pile, and you return it back to your hand, so you can bring back like an Agorix, a Vang, a Mephalgus, all these super fun cards. And all of your other darkness creatures gain plus 4,000 power. I really enjoy milling it off of Megaria and getting it for free. That's always nice. But yeah, that is the deck. Mono Dark is super, super good. I love everything about this deck. I don't know what I would personally change. Like I said, I didn't build this. This was made by KLeeb123. I had asked what they thought about it and like what changes they would make, and the only thing they had really mentioned was being a little bit torn on the Slithering Phantasms, but they said they were playing that for Mono Nature, and the Time Lost Phantoms, which I can also kind of understand. It is Time Lost Phantom. But yeah, this is the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I absolutely enjoyed it. And I'm sure Modest will discuss his deck in the future as well when he does his tournament breakdown for whenever that goes up. We're all joking that it's going to be like a 2 to 3 hour long video because all his videos are super long and in depth. Anyway, the next video that I'm hoping to record whenever I get the time is actually something I worked on with Louis from German Duel Masters. It is actually a deck that he played in one of his videos from like a couple years ago. I found it while searching for some ideas with Magelcax, which is funny because I don't think Magelcax was even in that deck to begin with. But next will be Water Dark Nature, Midrange / Control. And shout out to Louis for helping with that because I kind of like built what I had seen, hit him up, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we should maybe do some of these things." And Louis was a huge help with that. So look forward to that in the future, and I'll catch you guys later.